Welcome to the Fire and Earth podcast with your hosts, Jason Mefford and Kathy Groover. Fire and Earth, giving you the keys to unlock your limitless potential.
Welcome to another episode of the Fire and Earth podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason Mefford.
And I am Kathy Groover, and today we have another one of those short prompts, which we're never know where it's going to go, but let's see. So this prompt from the I Am app, which is an affirmation app where like every 2 hours you get a new affirmation to pop up. This one this morning was, what steps can I take to attract wealth, abundance, and well-being? What steps can you take?
Abundance, and well-being.
Okay,
so first place I want to go on that is a lot of people, they specifically use the word wealth and abundance separate, right? But I think especially in the new age, I don't know what you want to call it, the quasi new agey entrepreneurial bullshit stuff that goes on. Everybody's talking about abundance, 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 but what they're really talking about is wealth and people getting rich, right? They're not actually talking about abundance. They're talking about getting rich.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a big difference between being rich and being wealthy.
And being abundant.
And abundance is much more
Mm-hmm.
than having money.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that you brought that up because I think that's what people think of, right? And I don't know if you remember, it's so long ago now, I think probably 20 plus years, the book The Secret and the movie that was made The Secret.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about attracting the car, attracting the house, attracting the job, attracting the perfect spouse. And it's like, that's not what the law of attraction is about. It's not about you get the new Lamborghini. It can be, but that was the big complaint about that film, is it just all focused on this material stuff. And there's so much more that we can attract into our lives. So interesting. So you wanted to separate those two things. The first thing it triggered in me is space and allowing space. Because I think so often we want to attract the stuff to us, but we don't allow the space for it. We don't know what we truly want. And two, we don't make space to let that thing into our lives. So many of my clients, they want to meet a nice guy and they want to start dating, but they're working 24/7. They don't leave the house. They don't want to get on the apps. Well, but then do you really want that thing? If you're not allowing space for that to come to you, how do you think it's going to get there? If you want to meet the person of your dreams, but you never leave the house, it could be the UPS guy. They look great in the shorts, but you actually have to get out of the house and go allow space and opportunity for those things to grow. So I like what you said about defining, I'm going to bottom line it if this works, is like, what are you trying to attract?
Yeah.
What do you want in that abundance and that wealth and that prosperity? And I'm going to say, well, then allow space for it.
Well, and I think, and two, it's, we can use the spouse or the partner example, because this happens all the time too, is people, and again, like I said, The Secret and other things like that, people on the internet that are similar to that, they make it seem like you go and you sit down on the couch and you're eating ice cream and you're just thinking about the Lamborghini and you walk out your door and it's sitting in your driveway.
Oh, does that work?
No, it doesn't work.
Oh.
It doesn't work that way. But especially with relationships is, the whole irony, and it kind of goes along with your creating space. But, if you want the perfect spouse or the perfect partner and you think about what that person is like, you don't have to go find them, but you need to be the kind of person who your perfect partner would want to be with.
Very nice idea. Yes.
Okay. And so, this has happened to me, through different relationships and other stuff over the years too. It's like things just happen, right? But if we have to prepare ourselves and be the kind of person that somebody who's a person of our dreams would want to be with. Because if we're not, then they're not going to be attracted to us, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
And we can't be the wanty, needy kind of thing either, right? And so the boy girl syndrome, kind of from psychology, right? Boy wants girl, so girl doesn't want anything to do with boy. Interesting. But if boy doesn't care about being with girl, all of a sudden girl wants boy like crazy, right?
There's
And
very kind of, yes.
I'm using my caveman speak.
I was just like, that's an interesting cadence you just put on that. Girl, boy, hate girl. You know, it's like,
Yeah, yeah. Me Tarzan, you Jane.
exactly.
But the irony, I mean, we laugh about it, but it is so true. And again, if you want, as an example, your perfect partner, then be the kind of person that your perfect partner would want to be with. And when you do that, just like a magnet, they get sucked into your life. They
Yeah,
show up. I mean, that's it. Just happened to me with my current relationship.
I
Neither
know.
neither one of us were looking for anything, but right, universe
I
brought us together.
I wasn't looking for something permanent, and I'm getting married in 3 months.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
it's like it's been 4.5 years. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
The other thing that I was going to say along with that is you have to ask, do you deserve this thing you're asking for? And I think there's this huge amount of self-sabotage of, do you deserve to be unconditionally loved? Do you deserve to have prosperity? Do you deserve to have that health in that way that you're wanting it to attract to you? And I've had so many clients say they want that thing, and then upon further digging, they don't believe they deserve it. And that's why
Hmm.
it's coming to them. I've had at least 2 or 3 clients in the last 5 or 6 months that I'm doing executive coaching with talk about respect. They want respect from their coworkers, they want respect from their team. And I went, okay, well, one, what does respect mean to you? What does that look like? Two, how will you know if you're getting it from them? Like, what does that look like? And three, do you respect yourself? And I get to that and they all kind of go, oh, oh,
Yeah. Do you
hmm,
respect yourself and do you respect your team? Right. Because that's the other part of it too,
mm,
right? Is it's like if you're not respectful of your team, of course they're not going to give you respect.
yeah,
And if you don't respect yourself, then why in the world would anybody else respect you?
right.
Right. Yeah.
So
Good.
interesting. So yeah, attracting that. So know what you want, like
Mhm.
define those terms of what you want, make space for it, and then do the work.
Yeah. And I think, the third word in there we haven't really touched on either, which is well-being, right?
Which is
Which I
different than
think
health.
it's different than health. It's different than well, and so I think it's one of those words too that maybe we should spend just a minute or so on of what well-being is, right? And
Mm,
kind of from a psychology perspective, happiness, right? Everybody's like, oh, I want to be happy. I want to be happy. I want to
what
be
does that
happy.
mean?
I want to be happy,
I hate that word.
right? Yeah, well, but everybody says it, right? I just want to be happy. But but psychology usually kind of defines happiness as subjective well-being, right? So, what is well-being? Well, it's being well, right? It's embodying
Mm,
a place of wellness. And for each person, that's different, right? I mean, for
I,
one person,
yep.
you might be happy if you make $50,000 a year. Another person is happy if they make $1 million a year, right? Because it's subjective to the person.
Yep.
Some people may be completely happy, just sitting and looking at a tree
Mm,
and not doing anything else and just, being happy, connecting with nature, right?
content.
Content. And so some of the other words that often kind of go along with well-being is yes, happy, but again, happy sometimes is superficial and people don't use the term maybe the way they should. But what about some other words like joy, peace, calm,
Hmm.
right? Those are some words I think also that kind of go along with well-being. And the one thing that really kind of hit me is I'm much more aware and conscious of the words that I'm using and the things that
Mm.
I'm saying so I can be more impeccable with my word.
Ooh, nice.
But
Hmm.
there's a word in English called enjoy. Oh, I'm enjoying this ice cream,
Yep.
right? And we don't think about it, but what is that word? Enjoy. So are we really enjoying and being in a state of well-being when we use that word? Because we should be,
Hmm.
right? If I'm eating that ice cream and I'm just savoring the sweetness and the creaminess and the flavor of it, then okay, I'm probably in joy, in joy, right?
Mhm.
As I'm sitting there on my porch watching the hummingbirds come, right? I'm in joy because guess what? Hummingbirds also bring joy, right? That's their animal medicine is
Mhm.
joy, right? So, to me, again, it's one of those. Well-being is if we can get to a state of being in a state of being in well-being all the
Mhm.
time, everything is perfect in our life. We want
Yeah,
for nothing. We want for nothing. And that's our high vibratory status, right? And so
I love it.
again, I think when people think about vibration and frequency, they think, well, the higher you get, you're like, woo, amped up. Well, no, actually, when you actually reach states of enlightenment and peace and joy, your vibration is very high, but your body seems very peaceful and calm.
Yeah,
And that's kind of the ultimate state to me of well-being. So
I love it. I can't say that any better. Because like I was starting to think like, well, well-being, like I don't normally use the word well-being. How would I define that? And then you just said all this and I went, that's how I would define that. So yeah, that's
oh
great.
well, there we go, right?
I love that you brought up the impeccable with your word, because is that the Buddhist tenets, or is that
Well,
the
that was the
the
terms
with
that
your in the four?
Ruiz, or Don Miguel Ruiz used in the Four Agreements, right?
Yep.
And it's an old shamanic tradition of being impeccable with your word, right? Because our words are spells. And so if I tell myself certain things, if I tell you certain things, if I use certain words, even like the word sorrow, right? Oh,
Mm,
I'm sorry for that. Well, the word sorry is a root of the word sorrow. And so I don't want to feel the emotion of sorrow,
interesting.
right? So now I choose to say, I apologize for that, but I'm not going to go to a place of feeling sorrow for
Mm,
what I did because that's a very low vibration frequency.
yeah, yeah,
And so but again, it's a lot of these words that we use all the time and we don't actually realize what we're saying. So I'm just becoming more aware of that.
yeah.
And
I love
yeah,
it.
that the word enjoy just really hit me hard this last week.
Yeah. Are you in joy? Yeah, and just to go back to the well-being, notice how it's well-being and not well-doing,
Exactly.
coming from the triple Capricorn doer. It is, and it's interesting. I normally sit down on January 1st and I write out my list of things I want to accomplish. My weight goal, my money goal, my how many books I'm going to write, how many clients I'm going to see, how many states I'm going to get to. And I did not write jack shit. Didn't write it down.
No new. Oh, you didn't write anything down this year?
Didn't write anything down this year. First year in probably 20 years, I didn't sit down and very diligently Capricorn brain write down my list of didn't do it. Didn't write a damn thing. And I realized I want to make this year about being, not doing.
Mhm.
Is there stuff to do? Absolutely. I'm in the midst of 300 crazy things, including planning a very big wedding. But underneath that, underneath the crazy lady who is trying to manage all the stuff, I want to come from a place of being. Yesterday, I didn't succeed. I was way too overwhelmed. Today, though, I feel pretty damn good. And
Mhm.
it's a moment to moment choice. And am I going to beat myself up because I was so stressed yesterday? I can. What good does that do? That's not attracting abundance or well-being. Me now regretting regretting or beating myself over how busy yesterday was. But now today I get to make different choices, and I hopefully can move forward, and we all can, with a different attitude and being in that place of enjoyment. So
Exactly.
that's how I'm looking at today. All right, cool.
Good way to look at every day.
Every day. I am Kathy Groover. I can be reached at kathygruver.com.
And I am Jason Mefford. I can be reached at jasonmefford.com. So go out and have a great week and start attracting that wealth, abundance, and well-being that you want in your life. And we'll see you on and that you deserve too, by the way, right? And we'll see you on the next episode of the Fire and Earth podcast. See ya.
See ya.